new vans, new products, new exhibitors. I might have found my ideal kayak. I also might have found my ideal awning. I will explain what the Camperdoner vehicle is, and there's a really special £195,000 campervan, and it's not a Volkswagen, but there are other Volkswagens, there are crafters, and there's an ID Buzz camper. There is also some new tech, but did I manage to come away from the show without buying anything? We'll have to wait and see. But let's start with a brand new Ford Transit, the prototype campervan by Bespoke. So as far as new products are concerned, this is a rather special one. It isn't for everybody, and at the moment it's only a prototype. You might have seen they had the exclusive video for this, the release, which was done the Monday before the show. And that is the brand new Ford Transit Custom, which has been converted into a campervan by Bespoke. Let's have a look at it. The bed which it's got is the only one in Europe. There's actually only 2 of them in the world, and the only other one which is in the world is in Los Angeles. I've tried the bed out, and it really is just a one-hand glide motion. Let me know what you think. So this is the inside of the new Transit. You've obviously seen pictures when I did in my original video, and this has got this nice Antigo flow, did I say last time? And it's got the sliding seat rails. Now, this is the test. Can we do a one-handed glide motion? That is smooth. So you can see it does glide really, really smooth. If you lift the handle up properly to its full extent, it slides without clicking noises. Somebody else was doing it before and they didn't lift it, and it was just like going around each of the different fixing points, because underneath it's got obviously the fixing points where it can fit in, because it can lock in various different locations. But also what's new about this van, and is also in some of the other Bespoke vans, is this new work surface. And this is a glass edged worktop. So they've got the solid oak ones at the moment, but this new glass one is going to be available in different colours, which again just kind of makes those changes, which makes it seem a little bit better. Now, this is what I mentioned in my video about the C-pillar, and I think that that design could be done in a different manner, and I've got an idea for it. I've not spoken to them yet, but I will do in a moment. And again, new product, the Savvy Van. And this Savvy Van, this is the 5-inch display. But if you give me a moment, I'm going to go over to the Crafter, which you've got the brand new 7-inch display in there, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that. But first, let's have a look at this poptop. So the poptop on this is the SCA. And as I mentioned in the other video which I did, they were still speaking to other manufacturers of roofs, so we don't really know what the end version, the actual production model of this vehicle is actually going to come, which roof it's going to come with. But this is fitted with the SCA, and this is the only one in the UK, and it's been made for the Camperdoner vehicle. And I said I'd tell you a little bit more about the Camperdoner. This is a new product which Ford are bringing out. So obviously at the moment, a lot of converters will convert the vans, wherever it is, whether it's a Ford Transit Custom or it's a VW Transporter, whatever it is, they'll just basically buy a panel van and then build it from there. But when you buy your panel van, it still comes with a lot of plastics. It comes with a roof. And generally, when you're building a camper van, you're going to take that roof out. So what the Camperdoner vehicle is going to be from Ford, it's going to be basically a shell, which is not going to have a roof. So that's already going to be removed, ready for putting in a pop top. The SCA has been designed especially for that. It's also going to be able to come with swivel seats, so factory swivel seats. It's also got plastics in the rear, which converters just strip out. The converters don't need it, so they take that out. So what's the point of them including it in there? So that's also going to come out as well. And there's other bits and pieces which is going to be made specifically for that Camperdoner, ready for a base for the campervan companies to build from. And thinking about it, does that mean that because it hasn't been a panel van to start from, will that mean that all these vehicles which are going to be made from the Camperdoner vehicle, will they be able to be registered as motor caravans? Don't know. It's a question which we'll find out in time, no doubt. Anyway, let's have a look what's new about this Crafter. So this isn't a new Crafter. This Crafter was revealed at the show last year, which I obviously showed on my channel. But what is new this year is this control panel. So the control panel, which we've just seen in the other Bespoke, was a 5-inch unit. Now this one is 7 inches, and it's got the current software on it, which is Savvy Van 2, but as of, I think it might be next month, there's a new software update coming in for it, and that is the Savvy Van 3. Now, not only is it be able to look a little bit better aesthetically, it's going to be a lot faster. It's got a much faster processor in it, so things respond quicker. As you can see, you've kind of got 8 switches here, but on the new one, you're actually going to be able to have 16 switches. It's going to be fully customizable, so you can change the icons as to whatever you want. But not only that, it's going to have what is called logic. Now, logic means if this happens, then do that. So if, for instance, it detected that actually the water was leaking, you know, your water tank all of a sudden is 66%, and then the next minute it's 10%, then it might actually be a problem. So it might actually sound an alarm. It might alert you. It can do various different things. Looking forward to finding out what the full spec of it is. But currently the system, as you can see, it can switch on your lights on and off. It's obviously got your shower on there. It's got the hob. You can turn on your reading lights. It can tell you what your water level is. It's also got a leveling device. It doesn't level the van for you, but it can tell you whether you're level or you're not, which is absolutely brilliant. It's also got shunts, so you can find out exactly what's happening to your battery. You can monitor your battery. And there's something even bigger than that coming up. Something really, really big, which I can't even talk about at the moment, but this system is going to be absolutely fantastic, and I can't wait till it's released. So do look out for that, because hopefully he is going to let me know and I can publish a video on it. But it's definitely a system to be looking out for. Anyway, let's go and have a look at something else what's new. A new converter, which we've got at the show this year. Not a new converter, because it's been going a long time. 2008, 2009, something like that. A company which you might well have heard of before, and that's Dirty Weekender. You might have actually seen it in the previous video I did, which about the best campervans, or some amazing campervans I did. But I'm actually going to show you now what they've got in the back of this crafter, because as you might well know, I've now got a puppy, and look, in the back of here, I think this would be absolutely ideal. Look at that. How cool is that? It's the 2-lay dog crate for safe transportation. I think that'd be absolutely perfect in my van. This dog's really well behaved, and you're a good boy, good boy. So the special thing about Dirty Weekender is they don't just they don't have a standard van where this is the package which we've got and this is the package which we're going to put in, but we can trim your seats and we can do this. Everything is completely and totally bespoke. Like I've shown you in the last video, I'm going to show you again. This van here, this T6.1 it is something special. And like I said last time, there's a story behind it. The people have not even seen it yet. It's a customer's van. They have bought this van and they have not seen it. But every single design element in it has been designed by them, chosen by them, you know, in collaboration with the converter, listening to their requirements, talking about what the needs are, what they need to do, what they want to use the van for. And they've come up with this, and it is something special. So as well as the transporters, which they do completely unique, they also do the unique crafters as well, or mans, as this particular one is here. And the 2 different ones on this stand are completely different because the customer requirements for each of these vans were totally different. So a new exhibitor at the show this year, and I'm really pleased to see them. I've known about them for quite a long time, and yeah, it is really good to see them here, and the product in the flesh is absolutely phenomenal. Like I've just said, completely different. You know, this one has got a top on it, and the other one has not. These weren't the only crafter man sort of vehicles at the show, and they came in a range of budgets. There also seems to be a forming trend with them at the moment, and I don't know why. Maybe you do. And whilst looking at the vehicles, I heard this comment regarding the price. I was actually stood in front of one of the crafters, and somebody said, why would you buy that for 100 grand when you can buy a Hopton for 70 grand? Well, actually, there's a difference. Now, the Hopton is a good vehicle. Look at this. It's made by Hillside, and Hillside have been in the game for a long time, and they make some extremely good crafters and also transporters. So this Hopton, this particular one, is based on the Volkswagen Crafter, but they also make them on the MAN platform as well. And it's a well-spec'd crafter. It's got the leather seats up front. This one is a manual. It's got a shower. It's got a toilet. It's got a dual fuel hob. It's got the 2-burner gas, and it's also got the induction as well. It's got a sink. And then coming around the rear, you see this bench seating, which is perfect. You can sit down on the sofas and you can watch TV and you can have a really nice, relaxed, beautiful lifestyle. Plenty of storage above. It's a lovely van. And starts about 70 grand, I think it is. So perfect. Ideal, isn't it? Well, it isn't, is it? If you've got a family of 4, because you can't fit a family of 4 in it. This is a 2-berth van. So yes, it might be a good idea to be buying the Hopton at 70 grand. But if you've got more than 2 people, then the Hopton isn't for you. So you do need to be looking very carefully when you are comparing these vans to see exactly what you're comparing. I mean, this particular one, which I've just looked at there, the spec list, as we can see here, actually comes to 89,000. So it isn't actually the 70,000 that people were saying it is anyway. But it's a beautiful van. I really do like the Hopton. But it wouldn't be for me because there's more than 2 of us. There is 4 of us. We would need a bigger van. So we would need the pop-top roof. So another brand, another manufacturer who makes these vehicles is CJL Leisure. And you might have seen these before. They have got quite a bit of publicity because they're having some really quite pricey vans. I think the one which we're looking at now is £150,000. So it certainly isn't a cheap vehicle. It's got some really nice big alloy wheels ready for off-road, whereas the one on the Hopton, which we saw, were just Volkswagen standard wheels. It's got a lot of extra design features. It's got ladders. It's got a pop-top. It is the Grand Adventure because it is built for adventure. And if we get into the back of it, you'll see exactly where we're talking about when we're talking about adventure, because it's got the bikes in there. You can put the bikes in the back. You've got a shower for cleaning yourself off afterwards and obviously washing the bike. It's also got the full electrics in the back, which is absolutely packed with lithium on this one. I think it's something like 360 amp hour. It's a big old beast. And it's got your fridge in there. It's got everything which you need for outdoors adventures. And it all comes on these pull-out drawers, which are really easy to pull out, really easy to use, and it just helps with your storage. Above that, you've got the bed, storage lockers above the top, and you've got this beautiful ceiling, which forms part of the pop-top, which you can get in at the front. So this van, yes, it is £150,000, but like we've seen in some of the transporter videos, it's about the spec. It's about what you actually get within that vehicle. It's built for outdoor adventure. The lithium iron phosphate batteries, which I mentioned, is a big capacity, but it's also got a big inverter to be able to power your devices. The induction hobs, which it's got, obviously needs a big capacity battery to power it. There's a lot of spec that's gone into this vehicle. It's obviously got heating systems, and it's got a massive fridge and a shower, a heated shower. You can see the design elements of it. Like I said, the suspension and the wheels, the laser lights at the front, the body styling, it is completely different to that Hopton. Yes, it is a lot more, but you do get a lot more with it. So make sure that you're checking the spec sheets when you're looking at it. You cannot just say, well, that's just ridiculously expensive because the Hopton's 70 grand. Yeah, well, the Hopton might not include as much. I mean, look at those leather seats. Those leather seats are completely different to that Hopton model, which we've seen. They might be for you, they might not be. So these aren't the only 2 vehicles in this. We've got a lot more. So let's carry on around and see what else. This is another vehicle built on the Crafter Man platform, and this is by VanWorks, and this is the Max Track Adventure. Look at those laser lights on the roof. Jeez, I'll tell you what, I bet they're flipping bright at night. This definitely, like the CGL one, looks off-road bound. These great big chunky tyres which he's got on there, sat on that. Definitely built for off-road adventure. And if you can have a look at that, look at that beautiful bespoke engineering which has gone into making that roof rack. I think that is a really nice touch on it. I think this just seems to be a bit of a thing with these crafters at the moment. There's quite a few which are built for adventure, and I'm going to come on to another one in a moment. Well, actually another 2, and these really are built for adventure. Bespoke vans, as in bespoke, as in specially made, one-off components. Look at these. Look at that front end. I understand that this has been made especially for this vehicle, completely one-off. The engineering that has gone into this is, well, absolutely incredible. You're not going to see many vehicles like this. A lot of people do work modifications on vans just to make them individualistic. Well, this is something else. They've made those windows themselves. There's a lot of components on this vehicle that have actually been engineered by them for exactly what they want this vehicle to look like. And it is pretty special. And as far as price is concerned for this, it starts from £128,000. And yeah, that is a lot of money. But if you're thinking about those other crafters which we've seen before, which are from £150,000, and they've not had the same level of engineering, the same bespoke parts which have been made for them, because these have been made specifically for this vehicle. And you can see on the inside as well, it's been made to a really, really high standard. It is special. It is something completely different. Induction hob, it's got lithium batteries. It generally really is built for off-grid. Very, very special vehicles. So not everything at the caravan camping motorhome is the same. There is a lot of difference. There's a lot of choice to be made, a lot of different stuff. I think it's really cool. So this definitely is new. This is brand new, and this is Project Yonder, and it's built on the Mercedes Sprinter, and this is extremely impressive. And it's completely custom made. The designs, the colors, everything about it is something which you actually choose yourself. So if we look here, we've got some color palettes. So you can actually be choosing what kind of canvases and things which you want in your camper van. And it's, again, another vehicle which is built for off-road adventure. What is it at the moment with this off-road adventure? A lot of people seem to be building these vehicles. It must be, I don't know how many I've seen in the show, but everybody seems to be building the off-road adventure vehicles, the 4x4s, and they are very, very spectacular. They've all got very, very different features. This one's completely gas-free, it's completely off-grid. It can come as a 2-berth, a 4-berth. It's actually won the award for the Motorhome and Caravan Show winner for the fixed roof van over 6 meters. So there's been quite a few awards at the show this year, and I've already shown you the Eco Wagon, which is the transporter vehicle over 5 meters because it was built on the long wheelbase. And this is another winner, and it is a spectacular vehicle. And if we're looking back here, you can see the features which it's got, and it's got an extremely good feature which not seen before, and that is this table. Look at that. That is a perfect idea. So you've got the floor which is slightly raised, and because the floor is slightly raised, it's actually able to accommodate a table, which I'm pretty sure that these legs will fold up, tuck underneath the table, and you can just post it in there. So it provides a little bit of space outside. You can see the great big electrical system in there. I mean, wow, that is absolutely fantastic. That's why it is built for off-grid. And that's one of the benefits which you've got with these bigger vehicles over the vehicles such as the transporter. You can fit so much more in them. Somebody's just asked me, you know, which vehicle I prefer, and they're completely different. The transporter and these bigger vehicles, the sprinters, the crafters, they're a totally different sort of vehicle. So under this bonnet, it's got a 250 amp alternator. 250 amp, oh my word. I asked him how big's the cable going to be for that, and basically it's mammoth. It is massive, and that is to provide power to the lithium-ion battery bank, which is huge. Now it's running on a Garmin system, and this is kind of it here on this iPad, and it shows that you can change all the lights, you can set the heating, the air conditioning, the heater as well. You can see the levels of all the tanks. So pretty similar as we see in other vehicles of other sizes, your crafters and your transporters and things like that. So the 240 volt is from a 5 kilowatt inverter. 5 kilowatt. Briefly showed you that in the back before. I mean, it is just absolutely huge. Obviously, it is completely gas free. So it's running induction hobs. It's got a fridge. The fridge is 90 litres. I think on the roof, I think they said it's got 300 watts of solar, but the battery bank which is in it, which we said is a massive battery bank, with that 250 amp alternator which they've got, it will actually recharge completely fully from completely totally depleted in 4 hours of driving. That's pretty impressive. Now, heating wise, it's got a Truma 6, so the big beast. So that provides the heating. It also provides hot water, but it's also got Truma air conditioning as well. So if you're too cold, it can warm you up, and if you're too hot, then it can cool you down. They really have thought of a lot when they've been building this vehicle. And, you know, as you would think, you know, this is built on the Mercedes Sprinter chassis, so it isn't going to be a cheap to start with. But the components which they've included in it, I mean, that inverter and all that's massive. The lithium-ion batteries which they've got for it, that Garmin system, there's a lot of kit in this. There's a lot been taken into account. You know, you can't just put a 250 amp alternator in a vehicle and just hope it works. It requires a lot of thinking and a lot of effort, because that cable from the front goes all the way to the back. So it has to be massively thick to make sure that it isn't going to cause a problem and isn't going to cause a fire. So that's Project Yonder. I'm sure we're going to be seeing several of these on the road soon, and it is another adventure vehicle, of which there have been many.
Why are we seeing all these swamper style vehicles? There were loads of adventure style vehicles at the show, not just transporters, crafters, sprinters, there were other brands as well. People do seem to be going down this road. Why is that, do you think? Are people realising that the 20-inch rims with the really, really low profile tyres isn't ideally suited for those outdoor pursuits, those adventures down to the beach roads where you've got the rocks at either side and they can easily be caught on them? Is the swamper now becoming the vehicle of choice? That bigger profile tyre, the less susceptible to punctures whilst you're on this sort of roads? I don't know, you tell me, what do you think? Let me know in the comments.
We've got, another one, another adventure vehicle. There are so many of these adventure vehicles cropping up now. Another one based on the Mercedes Sprinter. This one, 161,000, I think it is. And again, it certainly does look extremely adventure-like. But what's really cool about this stand is not just that Mercedes which they got, but it's that Mercedes. And this is a bike, a van, and there is the bike. So a race van. Now, I've seen quite a few of these in my time, and they are extremely good bits of kit. So you've got a garage for the bike, and then you've got all the mechanics tools and bits and pieces, and then you've obviously got sleeping areas, and you've got the luggage areas, you've got cooking facilities, and they're really, really high spec. And yeah, I mean, look at that bike. This isn't a bike channel, but I do like the Panigale. Very nice bike.
A huge thanks to those who came up to me at the show and said hello. Some of you commented on that you'd like the videos and why you'd like them, and hearing your heartwarming stories as to why and how I've helped you really kind of make it all worthwhile. I do try my best with these videos, and to hear those positive comments really does go a long way. So thanks again. I really genuinely do appreciate it.
So certainly not new, but this is a California Ocean. Now, California Oceans are still available to order, and you can still actually order them with the 4Motion. I think that's the only vehicle which you can now get the 4Motion in. Now, this van is all fully kitted up, and obviously, as you can see, there is no accessible sliding door on the passenger side because they are built for the European market. And for the European market, the door opens on the driver's side, well, the side which we drive on, which is being the right-hand side. And I like that because I'm often chucking stuff in the back of the van when I open my door, being able to easily access the back of my van. I like the fact that there is a door on my side. I mean, that's why I do actually like a twin slider, because you've got the best of both worlds then. But this is Campervantastic. They call themselves luxury hire. And it is, because it's the Volkswagen California Ocean, and it is a luxury vehicle. It is really the top of the end to top of the range vehicle that Volkswagen make. Is it better than a conversion which you can get from some of the other converters which we've seen in some of the other videos which I've done? Well, that's entirely up to you. They are different vehicles. You know, like again, there is no body kits on this. There's no bling on it. There's no massive alloy wheels. You know, there are some decent size alloy wheels on this one. And with good tyres as well, Bridgestone tyres, which you sometimes don't often get on some of the lesser conversions. But yeah, this is the Volkswagen California Ocean. It's a good vehicle. It's a great vehicle. They've actually got one for sale in Bayleaf Green. 19,400 miles. Interesting. Not got any money, can't buy it. But yeah, Campervantastic, they provide a lot of parts and accessories. I mean, you can see some of the window covers here. So if you've got a California Ocean and you need some of the parts and accessories, there's some of the special items which they have, the pull-out drawer at the back, which I'm pretty damn sure that this vehicle will have. Yeah, it does. I can see it down there at the bottom. So it's got a drawer which kind of pulls out, and then all the accessories can just be easily pulled out. So it easily stores underneath that bed. It's just demonstrating there that there's a fly net, which isn't standard. That's something else which you can obviously buy, but that drawer down at the bottom there where you can see the Kayak Safari Chef, that is a pull-out drawer, pulls out really smooth, and it's just easy for storing your gear, your kit underneath there. So yeah, so this is the company who does specialize a lot in the aftermarket California parts. So yeah, if you do have a California, then these are the people to come to. And unfortunately, they've not got the bay leaf green on show, but that'd have been nice if they did. And you can see it there, they've got the bike carrier, the luggage carrier, they've got the two-lay bike carrier on top, and then they've obviously got the kayak with the kayak carrier as well. So yeah, fully kitted out California Ocean. This one's actually for sale. I presume it's one of the ex-hire vehicles, and with it being the California Ocean, then obviously it does hold its value extremely well. Funny enough, actually, a couple of people have spoken to me today about a California Ocean, and yeah, they do hold the values really, really well. They are, like I said, they are the premier product produced direct from Volkswagen. Not saying it is the best campervan conversion out there, because there are a lot of companies producing really good campervans, but the one actually direct from Volkswagen, then this is definitely the one to have. Right, so I am still looking for an awning so I can do my campervan conversation videos in the dry when it's raining, and I think I found another potential option. This is the brand new Isabella, and it's looking very similar to one which I saw last year, but I have actually spoken to somebody who actually knows quite a lot about this awning, and they've said that this awning is extremely good in the wind. It's got a lot of these tension bars here, so when it is really, really windy, it holds up very, very well. Obviously, with it being Isabella, then the material on it is, yeah, well, it's just absolutely top quality, as all the Isabella products are. Coincidentally, this table which is here, I do actually have that table at home myself. It's a table which you might have seen in a couple of videos, as is that Isabella chair. Funny enough, the van which we've just walked past there is Termar Caravan Centre's hire van. I've not a clue what it's doing here, because I'm actually in Birmingham at the NEC show, and I've no idea what it's doing here. But yeah, I have actually got those table and chairs. So it does suit this awning rather well. That could be potentially an option which I do have, but they've also got something else as well. Something else which isn't quite the same. It's not got each side, and I think it's actually an awning which is more designed for a caravan. But what it does do, it fits the Transporter T6 exceptionally well. So I'm just going to go and try and find that. Here it is. So this one here, so it's an awning which is going to attach to the awning rail of the van, and it's more like a canopy. So a canopy which I've talked about before, it's obviously going to be really quite easy to pack up, easy to store within inside the van, and it's going to offer that protection. However, what it isn't going to do is provide that protection if it's actually going to be windy, because it's just going to blow through, and if it's raining as well, then it's going to blow through that. So maybe this isn't the best option, but actually it is another good option, maybe one I should try out. We shall see. New, but certainly not a new company, a company that's been around for a long time, and a couple of products which have been around now since I think end of last year, but that's the chair pod. And you can put the chair pod in the back of your tailgate, and you can have these chairs in there. And it's a product which I've actually seen some converters take it on themselves and put it in the back of vans. Again, a really useful product which can obviously be very versatile and provide that extra space. And speaking of space, you've got the Locate table. Now, I've featured this on my videos before. I have used it, and I think it's great because this just goes in the sliding door. So the sliding door, which is obviously dead space at the moment, has this in there, and then the table just goes on the bike, and that table can be taken out of the van. You know, it's not something which attaches onto the rail inside the van. It's something which can be used anywhere you go. You can take it to the beach, you can take it out onto the grassland. You know, it just goes wherever you want it. And obviously, as well as that, they've got the shades themselves. So very well known for the shades. We've already seen them numerous times in a lot of the camper vans which we've seen today. VanShades, lots of different colours, lots of different finishes. And yes, I said last time, if you see my previous video last year or last October, November, that didn't do purple. It's purple. Sorry, Jack. Do apologise for that. You do purple. So Colapz. You might have seen that I've got one of these Colapz water carriers, but now I've got a dog. I might need one of these Colapz water bowls. And also, as well as a water bowl, look at the shower. There's a shower which would be useful for not only washing me, but also washing Lottie when she gets dirty. I could be using that with my Colapz water bottle carrier, whatever. And then obviously sucking the water up, we're using the 12-volt system and having a bit of a shower. This is perfect. This is perfect for Lottie and for me. I'm really, really quite pleased with that. But I'm not going to buy anything because, yeah, because I said I wasn't. So, no, I'm not going to do. So not everybody can be affording camper vans, and they might just have the car. So what a lot of people are doing is getting these tent boxes. These do seem to be becoming really, really popular. You see them just kind of driving around cities. People keeping them on the daily vehicles, not even bothering taking them off the roof when they're not using them. They're becoming extremely popular. No, it doesn't give you that extra headroom, which you obviously get when you've got a pop top. You know, you're in that pop top and you can stand up because you've got that extra room. It doesn't give you that, but what it does give you is extra space and extra accommodation. You know, it's really, really quick to put up. Obviously keeps you very dry. And I've seen these on a massive range of vehicles. You know, it's not just vehicles which you'd, you know, expect to find them on, your Land Rovers on and your other kind of adventure vehicles such as that. But, you know, I've seen them on Porsche 911. You know, Porsche 911's having a tent box on the top. That's pretty cool to be doing an adventure in. But not only are they becoming popular, they're also winning awards. So again, another winner of an award of the show, and this is the best rooftop tent, the Light XL. And as you can see here, well, it is actually on an adventure vehicle because it's on a Jeep. But as pictured there, it's on an Audi A4, although that is the kind of off-roady type vehicle. But, you know, you can put these on any vehicle, and as far as price is concerned, you know, the price is going to be a hell of a lot less than buying a brand new transporter camper van or a Ford or whatever it is. You know, it's just an addition which you can have for your car. And yeah, they're becoming popular, very, very popular. Look at this by Outlandish Campers. ID Buzz, the only ID Buzz which I've seen at the show. And it is a camper, but it's not actually a camper. It's not got a pop top. It's got a Latitude tent bed, which is far better than the pop top conversions I've seen for this, because not particularly pretty. So instead of a full conversion, it's obviously got this roof tent and obviously awning as well. And then it's got this furniture, which Outlandish Campers make, and they make it so it's designed that you can either take it down there and they can basically slide it in, or they can send it to you and it's flat packed and a few hex keys and you can put it together yourself. So where this operates, as you can see there, it all kind of slides together. And then the panel which you got there with the coffee, obviously it's put into that situation there so it can make a bed, but then it can slide out down to the bottom and also actually extend. So you've got a bit of a table outside. So it's got the coffee pot on there now. And then obviously you'll have your cups and saucers and bits and pieces on there, and you know, you'll be able to have your food. So this looks a great modular system for the ID Buzz. I mean, we've got the sink in here. Power is being done by a portable power station we've got down there. And the other side of the bed is there. And this is by far better than the campers which I've seen converted, because the proper camper van conversions which have been done on the ID Buzz just don't really, they're just not great. I mean, the pop top which I've seen is just not ideal. This is just great because it can all be removed. So as you can see there, he's just slid it in. It slides so easily, but it can slide completely out. That bottom bit, as we've seen, already slides out, and the bit on the right all slides out. So it then effectively turns it into a van. So yeah, it is a lot smaller than the T5, the T6, etc. But for an electric vehicle, for a vehicle which is going to be used as a multi-purpose vehicle, something which you're not going to be using all the time for camping, then this looks excellent if electric is what you want to do. So all in all, I actually think that if an electric vehicle is your thing and Volkswagen is your thing, then this kind of modular system is very useful for the ID Buzz. And I quite like that. Like, as you know, I've got a Combi, and I use not anything as good as that, but things which can be taken in and taken out of the van very easily, and that looks really well made. I love the fact that it all just slides in and out. That really is quite a good system to have. I'll put the website in the description so you can check them out. But yeah, I quite like that.
Did I make a purchase? Well, yeah, it was inevitable, didn't it? And I did actually pay for them. I didn't get anything for free. Well, I did actually. I got a Truma keyring. Truma air conditioning and motor movers and things like that as far as caravans are concerned. So thank you, Truma, for the keyring. That was the only thing which I got free at the show. But I did make some great purchases. So what did I buy? Well, I bought this Sandbanks style dry bag. This dry bag rucksack, which obviously is going to keep everything dry whilst I'm out on my paddleboard. But not just my paddleboard, because Sandbanks style sell kayaks as well. And I did have a chat about their inflatable kayaks, because you might have seen in my previous videos that this year I really want to get out on a kayak. I want to explore certain areas, places local to me, places up in North Cornwall, and also places like Durdledore. So I've been kind of looking for a kayak, and I didn't think that an inflatable one was going to be for me. But actually speaking to the person on the stand, he kind of allayed some of my fears and my concerns which I had about it. And thinking about it, that actually might be the best way for me to go, and I really did like the look of them. I've got my Sandbanks paddleboard at the moment, and I certainly cannot fault it. I absolutely love it, and to partner that with a kayak might well be the route I go down, but you'll just have to wait and see. And I did make another purchase. That was whilst I was at the Colapz stand. So the Colapz, this is the portable shower, and I think this is going to be really, really useful. I have actually been looking at quite a few of these, and I've not got a shower connected to my van at the moment. So I did think that was very beneficial. And again, in brand colours, I got the utility bag for the water. But I think that shower is going to be really useful, not only for me and washing Lottie when she gets dirty, washing feet, washing sand off them. It's just going to be a multi-purpose shower. So I think that for me is going to be a great purchase. But again, look out in the future and see how we get on with that. Anyway, if you didn't see my video on the incredible campervans and the dirty weekender, which really did have that wow factor, then you can have a look at that video here. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you soon.